Greetings there, little peanut. Mr. Technology Dude has asked me a question about Richard Hart's Bitcoin prediction. $11,000. Will we hit it? Is it still on? I'm going to go through some interesting points to show you why I think it's not going to happen, and we're going to check it out together. See, Bitcoin was definitely expected to hit $100,000 in 2021 by the majority of the crowd. But Richard Hart came along and said, I have different plans for you, little Bitcoin. This was his post. He made it, is reposting it. And he called the top on the day. He has this cute little green arrow. We're going to zoom in so you can see this tiny little arrow up here. He calls the top and then does this little fake out and he says, we're going to 10K. Now, when he called it back in 2021, nobody was talking about 10K. It was very low percentage of all the polls. No one expected it. Majority of the crowd expected 100K next. So he was considered the outsider back then in the midst of the bull mania in 2021. But let's see what ends up happening throughout the bear market, okay? So very interesting, friends. We're going to see the chart now. I'm going to play it out for you and why things happen the way they did. You see, we have Bitcoin capitulation. This is the Bitcoin chart. This is the bear market. You see here, this was the capitulation right here, friends. You see that part? That was all these things going down. UST. By the way, UST and Luna combined is 104 billion. Wipeout. Instantly. Okay. Now, I want you to know that this is extremely important because UST was meant to be a stable coin. So in the minds of everybody who held it, they believed they were holding a secure $1 investment. So you could argue that the damage done here was so significant. And it's true. It's true. It's literally the difference like between losing your house and a luxury car. You know, maybe they're worth the same. Maybe you have a luxury car. Oh yeah, maybe this Ferrari's worth 900,000 and your house is worth 900,000 too. But you know the difference, right? Losing your house is like, oh my God, like that was meant to be what I relied on. That would crush your spirit. Think of that the same way with UST. UST's damage was, it was brutal. It was brutal. Luna as well, but everyone knew Luna speculation. It can go up and down, right? Then you had Celsius and BlockFi and Voyager and 3AC. 3AC was an important one because they were central to all the funds and trading and just it represented everything going on with the market at the time. Then it went to zero. But look what happens next, okay? We have anger phase, all right? So Bitcoin stopped like 17,800. Now, why I've made this for you, this cute diagram, is I believe in another parallel universe. So this is the thing, friends. Okay. FTX was actually insolvent down there with Luna. Okay. FTX was a poopy face right here. Right. I'm going to get another bear arrow. FTX should have gone under here, but they didn't. So in another world, right? In another world, probably FTX was unable to save themselves and do their manipulation. And in another world, FTX went down here too. All right. So yes, Bitcoin stopped at 17,800. But I think like if the market knew that FTX was insolvent at this time and that actually happened and we had the USDC depegging, well, 10K easy. 10K easy. If FTX actually did not save themselves during this period of time, I think we would have seen a bigger, fatter candle. Right? I think we would have seen like, bang, and then just done this. Right? Interestingly enough, I think as well, we would have got back to the same price. This is what markets do, actually. You know what I'll often do? Right? I will go to a market and say, well, there are two scenarios that can happen here, and I'll draw them out on my chart. But it's funny, they will meet at the same point in the future, maybe like 9 months, 12 months, whatever. And often, if the market disconnects, so one path happens, right? So maybe, you know, the bad scenario happens. It's very interesting, friends. The market will go to where it's meant to go eventually. It's very cool to see this happen. So, I mean, another example I can show you, I think if you remember back in October, November 2022, everyone said, well, if FTX didn't collapse, it would have been at 25K for Bitcoin. Isn't it funny? We go exactly there right after. Okay, it takes some time, obviously. So to answer this question, this is what I think. I think, yeah, Bitcoin should have been at 10K, but FTX tried to delay the inevitable, and this USDT peg happened later on as well. If you threw all of that at once, if the market actually knew all of these things were a risk at the same time, we were finished. 10K, everyone wipe out. And it would have probably been a long journey to hell until eventually, woohoo, we're coming out. But because it was spread out, we got this type of bear market where it's like just the 3 pitfalls of hell. You know, this also happened back in 2015. In 2015, the Mt. Gox bear market, this is what happened as well, right? You can see it here. So you have, you know, oh no, it's over. Oh no, it's over. And then we recover back up. Very interesting. That seems to be what we're doing right now. Okay. So when Richard Hart made his prediction, which is up here, he was by himself. And I'm going to show you more cool friendship stats now. Okay. Look at this. So Richie made his call. Okay. But everybody else joined him. Everybody. I even mentioned here, right, if I scroll down, okay, look, all of these influencers, this was just the beginning. I ran out of character space. I could have named another 10. So yes, there would have been 20 influencers calling for 10K Bitcoin. Huge, right? Huge. You're probably surprised. You're like, no way. That many influencers were bearish? Yep, that's right. Every single person, all of them. I watched them all. There was nothing else to do in a bear market. I watched every single one, looking for information, looking for edge, trying to find something. I was like, hey, I need new. I was always checking, are there new projects that are going to launch? Can I see, you know, the future, etc. I was always trying to learn, trying to grow. And I noticed this, you know, it was just coming to me. I was like, wow, every single person here. So if you notice Richard Hart, number 5, he was by himself. But now you've added 19 people with him. 19 influencers. Insane. Absolutely insane. I remember one influencer, he was mega bullish the whole way down. And then, I also made a post about him. He got bearish at the lows, right on the FTX collapse. I still remember that. Oh, that was just very funny to see. And it was actually the actual bottom tick low. It was crazy. So, look, there is no glory in here, friends. Like, everybody had all these Duma titles and everything else. There's no glory in here. And what I mean by that is, getting these price predictions, it doesn't really matter, man. That's not the wealth creation. That's, if you want to do that, you're on leverage and in your top 2-3%. But for everyone else, you're going to hurt yourself. My goal, our goal, is to be at Peanut Brain and hold all through 2023, all through 2024. We make it to 2025 and we sit here and we say, yes, I'm wearing fluffy slippers. Yes, my back is straight. And I still accept the fact that if God wants to strike us down with another curse and say, hey, throw us 3 more zombie viruses, World War IV, Vladimir Putin releases a new chocolate cheesecake, everyone's lactose intolerant, nobody wants to eat for a year. If all of these things want to come and delay the bull market another year, okay, whatever. Just be prepared for 2026, 2027. You always put the carrot on the stick and you throw it further in time. Always. That's the only way to make it in this game. You go another year and another year and another year. That's the only way they actually make it. You don't make it by saying, I'm going to be rich in exactly 6 months. Oh, this is my year. Okay? Even though we all want to be rich in a year, don't we? But I'm telling you now, like what I went through in 2018 and 2019, I did not think that it was going to wash me out mentally the way it did. All right? Even though I was willing to hold for 10 years, I'm letting you know, you will get washed out. You will get bored. Things will start moving that you don't own. You're waiting for the bull market. Everyone's going to keep asking me, when bull, when bull, when bull? And I'm like, well, you know, we actually are in the bull. It's just that the euphoria you're talking about that you want, that's actually the very end. That's like the last 90 days of a 3.5-year bull market, okay? You are a baby doll, friends. So, look, I haven't posted this. This is what it looked like at the time. This yellow box, this is what we're checking out, you know, right here. So we're right in the middle, and everyone was saying, well, we're going low, we're going low. So, you know, yeah, at one time, Richie's Heart, Ricardo Corazon, he was the rogue one. He was the outsider. He was by himself talking about 10K Bitcoin, why, the Fed's raising rates, liquidity, it always does it. And then everyone joined him. I haven't made a post here, friends. I'm going to try to find it for you. That's right. I made a post here, okay? And I said, let's read this together with me, all right? Because you're a baby doll friend. Look at this on the left-hand side. I kept saying another bottom signal has flashed. Look, I'm still calling that 30K will hit before 10K, right? And here I say, I don't think YouTube comment section dudes like Paul Osman are going to win by selling their Bitcoin and Ethereum at the lows and then buying back triple their stack at 10K. So yes, this person's real. I just went to the comments and I just found the random dude in a random video that I can't remember I was watching, and a guy named Paul Osman. It just sounded like a funny name. And he said, yes, I'm 100% convinced that Bitcoin's going to 10K and Ethereum's going under like $400. So I've sold everything down here and I'm gonna buy back triple my stack. And I've left my bids there. He basically said that, and he just had everyone upvoting him in the comment section. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, when have you ever heard random dudes with no avatar who says, yes, I'm a genius, I'm gonna sell the lows. I'm going to sell after big capitulation, and then I'm going to buy back triple my stack. That doesn't work. But, I mean, it happened so slow. It was very hard to sit through this, friends. Like, this is a weekly time frame. Look at all these little ticks. You zoom in here, these tiny little ticks. Like, it was, I know you scrunch it up here, but you lose the appreciation for how much time this was. This was so many months. But you saw what happened, right? So, what could change Rich's mind? Well, I don't know if he's going to say, well, I think the bottom's in, etc., etc. But I just want you to know, so we've now concluded, in a parallel universe, if the market knew all the bad stuff that was happening at the same time, I think we would have got 10K Bitcoin, okay? If the market only knew. So, what about what's going on here? Well, Richie himself, Ricardo, has often said he's bearish on crypto because the US Fed is still raising rates. And when they raise rates, liquidity gets thrown out, etc., etc. It's very, very common to think this way. Now, markets are forward-looking, and I just want you to know, this is the US 2-year bond. I always speak about this. Don't worry about anything else, friends. Just look at this the US 2-year bond. You see the run up here? The 2-year rate. So what is it? This is what the Fed follows. This is one of the secrets of macro. Secret of macro with multiple exclamation marks, and we're going to put an emoji exclamation marks to finish it. There we go. The secret of macro is the US Fed, it doesn't want to spook markets. And most of the time, it will look at the US 2-year and it will say, well, what's the US 2-year saying? Do they think we are going to have good times or tight times ahead? And right now, I see this horizontal line. Please confirm that you see a horizontal line. All right. There's a horizontal line here. That is the Fed fund rate right now. It's 4.75%. Maybe we can zoom in so you can see it on the far right. 4.75%. This is a huge disconnect down here. So remember, every cut is like 25 basis points. So we have 3. We went down to 3. This is 4%. We almost went in and priced in 4 cuts, a full 100 basis points. All right. So right now it's done like 2 to 3. And this is looking out 2 years from now. And it's not meant to be exact, but it shows you what the market thinks. And by the way, this is a huge move. If you look up here, it was above 5%. So the market went from, oh, they're going to keep tightening forever. I literally made posts. I've never done this before. I put a poopy emoji next to Jay Powell, and I said, you are full of crap. This is the biggest load of baloney I've ever heard. You are wearing crumpled slippers and your back isn't straight at all. I saw how he was bending over that podium to speak. That was the biggest baloney. Oh, rates are high. Look what happens straight away. Banks collapse, everything. So the market's starting to price this in. So Richie's prediction of 10K Bitcoin, I think, probably relied on the US Fed continually raising rates. However, something came out, friends. Something came out that changes information. What is it? Well, so if we go back, all right, look at this, okay. Secrets of macro. So before the big collapse happened, okay, look at this. As the market kept pricing in rate hikes. So remember, as this yield goes up, the market's saying more rate hikes, more rate hikes, more rate hikes. We're tightening, we're tightening. As this kept happening, we cracked the US banking system. And me and you, we're lucky. Not only are we friends, not only do we have a salty peanut brain, but we're actually lucky. You know why? Because this crack in the system did not take crypto down. It could have if it took the stock market down, but it didn't. How lucky are we? God's on our side here. So the US banking system cracked. The stock market did not have like a 25% capitulation drop. The stock market just went jittery and barely moved, and the market priced in huge cuts. So, you know, if you showed me this picture of the future, right? If you see, we're looking at the rate cut part here, okay? If you told me, hey, my friend Somi, I now have the future and I'm going to show you now, we're going to price in heaps of cuts. My heart would be beating very fast, I'll be honest. Because if I'm standing here looking out into the future, okay, and you told me that this big part was going to happen, I would be like, oh, crap. The S&P 500 is going to capitulate. Bitcoin's probably going to go below 15K. Something bad's going to happen and we're going to go down. That's what I would have thought. But look what happened. The market just said, nah, we've had enough. We don't want to sell off anymore. And it repriced anyway. So that's why I often say, okay, it's not just me, right? This is the greatest investors who say this, right? The bear market, friends, the bear market ends when you run out of sellers, all right? So that's why you had people selling for all the capitulation reasons. You had people selling in the anger and depression of FTX Ponzi collapse. You had people selling in the USDC depeg. You've run out of sellers. Who else do you have left to sell? Okay. So, you know, obviously we can return anytime, by the way. We still can do this. All right. I've been in markets long enough. I've seen everything. All right. I've seen everything enough to know that nobody is safe at any time, anywhere. But when you put these together, the fact that we had a delayed response to the market realizing that everything was actually a Ponzi, that's a bonus because we were able to stagger the sells. So instead of getting, 100 units of weak selling here, we got like 50 units, and then we got 30 units here, and then we had 20 units here. It still adds up to 100 units of selling, but it's over a long time. You get the institutions are buying up and all these other people are bidding up, and it absorbs it over time, okay? So that's the first main reason. And the second main reason, I believe, is now we are not pricing in any more hikes. So even if the Fed hikes rates, this is what I want you to know, my final message, even if the Fed hikes rates 25, it doesn't matter. This 2-year bond is telling you, we don't believe any of your hikes, baby doll. We don't think what you're saying is true. We see cracks in the system. But you know what will never crack? Our friendship. Tell your mum and your dad they love them, friends.